Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Nice to see you all. Welcome to this CITADEL webinar. Today, we will have a few presentations and introduce you to the Open Call 1 of the CITADEL project. My name is Leo Benedetti. I'm EU Project Manager at the Systematic Paris-Région. We coordinate the CITADEL project. And we have together, we gather today with Mariel Campanella from AKTANTIS and Hector Lais Ibanez from ELSEC to talk to you about these funding opportunities that will arise in the next weeks. Here is an overview on the agenda, but maybe before, some housekeeping rules. You have at the bottom right of your screen a chat box to interact with participants and everyone. You also have a questions box, so please, if you have any questions, include them in this specific box. You will also be able to download the presentation at the end of the webinar, so please wait for the end to have access to this document. Now, a few words about the agenda. So we will introduce you to the CITADEL project. Then we will have an overview of the Open Call 1 of CITADEL, a few words on the evaluation and selection processes, a few tips on how to find partners, and a small Q&A session for CITADEL. And like I said earlier, we welcome today Hector from ELSEC, who is a partner of the CYSSDE project, which is another funding opportunity that also will have a deadline close to CITADEL once. So he will be presenting the CYSSDE Open Call 3 opportunity to you. And you will also be able to ask any questions you might have to him. This being said, let's jump into the CITADEL project. So CITADEL is a European cluster-driven initiative designed to support and accelerate SME-led innovation in the civil security sector by connecting innovation supply with real market demand. We have three main pillars within the CITADEL project. The first one is ecosystem networking and matchmaking, especially among the supply and demand sides of the security sector. We have another pillar, which is the main domain of interest for today, the structured open calls with cascade funding opportunity. And the third pillar is monitoring and acceleration of the selected innovation projects into further adoption among the security sector. In the end, the project aims to accelerate the adoption of innovative security solutions across Europe. The project started in October 2025, will have a duration of 3 years, and is funded under the Euroclusters section of the Single Market Program. So CITADEL, in terms of mission, the main mission is to support innovation, networking, and adoption of new processes and advanced technologies within security value chain. The vision is to reinforce the resilience of EU critical infrastructures that are facing emerging threats by leveraging the synergies between digital and green transitions. And we have a few strategic objectives that will be implemented through the cascade funding mechanism. The first one is to stimulate the collaborations between digital companies and the security sector. The second is the adoption of innovative technologies within the security sector. The third one is to improve the resilience of the infrastructures. And the last one, to facilitate access to security markets for European innovative SMEs. In short, the CITADEL consortium is composed of 6 specialized European clusters. So 3 clusters from France, Systematic, AKTANTIS, and SAFE. 1 cluster from Lithuania, ClujIT. One cluster from Lithuania, L3TE, specialized in cybersecurity. 1 cluster from Romania, ClujIT, within the digital market. And lastly, 1 cluster in Finland, which is safety and security cluster of the Tampere security region. So we cover digital technologies, but also the security market, and we allow this matchmaking among the two domains. We have a strong regional anchoring. We have a complementary expertise across the security value chain, and we also, through our networks, allow for a wide European outreach. Maybe I will leave the floor to Marielle now to present you a bit about the Open Call 1 of CITADEL. Over to you, Marielle.
Yes, thank you very much, Leo, and good morning, everyone. So indeed, my name is Marielle Campanella. I'm head of EU projects at AKTANTIS, which is a deep tech technological cluster based in the southern part of France. And we are one of the 6 cluster partners in the CITADEL consortium that Leo has just introduced, and we are specifically in charge of the operational management of the Open Call 1. So it might be worth spending a few minutes explaining what this cascade funding mechanism is, in case you are not so familiar about it, because it is really at the heart of CITADEL and also the call which will be presented just afterwards. Actually, the cascade funding, which is also called FSTP for financial support to third party, is a funding mechanism which has been designed by the European Commission in order to distribute smaller amounts of public funding in a more, let's say, agile and more efficient way than the traditional large funding model that you may know at the European level. Actually, the open calls are directly managed by larger EU projects like CITADEL. It means that with this cascade funding mechanism, so from the Commission to the projects like CITADEL, and then finally to the beneficiaries, including SMEs, it is possible to have, let's say, lighter and simplified administrative processes, and also a faster decision-making process in order to deliver directly funding into the form of lump sum grants. Also in this process, usually the reporting is also simplified, which means, of course, less bureaucracy for you, for the companies, and also a better focus on the innovation. So this is this mechanism of cascade, Commission, CITADEL, and then the beneficiaries that we're exactly putting in place through this so-called Open Call 1 in CITADEL. So precisely how this cascade funding mechanism works specifically for CITADEL. So in CITADEL, we are really looking at demonstration and pilot projects of duration of 9 months. Each selected project will receive a grant under the form of a lump sum of 60,000 euros. And during the 3 years of CITADEL, we aim at funding 33 projects. So in total, we have a little bit less than 2 million euros to distribute. And specifically for this Open Call 1, it will be half of them, so 17 projects. The funding will go exclusively towards SMEs, which are the core of the single market program funding mechanism. We required co-financing from private sources of at least 20%, which demonstrates actually the real commitment from the companies which are involved. And the project can involve partners from all EU 27 member states plus associated countries of the single market program. So the key figure to remember is that the funding will be indeed 60,000 euros per project for collaborative projects of having 2 partners per project, no more than that, not 1, not 3, only 2 can create this small consortia. The collaboration rules are very clear. We are really looking for collaborative projects among, on one side, what we said tech-savvy companies, so namely SMEs from the digital sector, so having in their hands a given technologies that then can work together with the companies or entities that represent the demand side on the security sector. So the goal, finally, of the projects we will aim to fund will be to demonstrate how a digital solution in a real or near real conditions can address a concrete security use case or challenge, which is driven by the partner number 2. So as I said, we are really looking for a consortium of exactly 2 partners. So on one hand, one digital or tech SMEs, and on the other hand, what we call a security end user, namely an end user having a security challenge to overcome. And the second partner can be either an SME or non-SME organization, and either public or private. Your companies must be established in the EU 27 member states and the countries which are associated to the single market program. So there are 12 other countries, and you can see the list here. We actively encourage cross-border partnerships. It means that if your 2 partners come from different eligible countries, you will receive 1 bonus point in the evaluation, because it proves that the European dimension is important in the consortium, and it's also one of the key actions in Citadel. The key point, as I said, is that only SMEs are eligible to receive funding. So in case partner number 2 is a non-SME end user, it is fully eligible. They can, of course, participate. However, the entire grant of 60K will go to the SME and not to partner 2, which can participate, but by being completely self-financed. And as I said, you need at least to provide 20% of co-funding from private sources. This can be covered either by the SME's own financial resources, like equity capital, also by treasury, or by guaranteed from an external financing. However, contributions in kind are not eligible, and not monetary contributions do not come in this co-funding. So we need really a monetary commitment for this co-funding of 20%. Concerning the content of the project themselves, and so we are our goal is to select up to 17 SME-led innovation projects that can contribute across the 5 dimensions that you can see here. First of all, from the technological innovation point of view, we are really looking for projects that can demonstrate and validate advanced security solutions in area based on digital solutions like AI, IoT, photonics, cybersecurity, and communication. And the goal here is to accelerate and uptake the deployment of the technologies into the security sector. Concerning the operational and the security benefit, your solution should really improve threat detections, capabilities, enhance the resilience of critical infrastructure, also improve emergency response in case of disaster, and also enhance safety in a urban context, including crowd management and large security events. We are also interested in projects that can support quite fast commercialization, and that can create new business opportunities for the SMEs and also for the end users. So the economical and market impact will be important. We're going also to look at carefully the social and policy impact, because the goal also of the project that you will propose is also that your results will strengthen the public confidence and also advance both the green and digital transition goals, which are important at the EU Commission level. Knowledge and learning will be also important, namely how you can replicate your projects in case of R&D practices, but also in case of professional best practices into the security sector. Regarding the TRL level, so we are looking for projects that can start at TRL 5 or 6 before the Citadel funding, and that can reach a TRL level at least 6 or 7, so an increase of at least 1 TRL level after receiving the funding from Citadel. So we are really focusing on technologies that are approaching market readiness. Concerning technologies, so here are the 5 main technologies that we would like to get project specifically. So you can see IoT technologies. So it covers smart sensors, edge AI applications, environmental monitoring systems, for instance, and also risk detection solutions. Then we have also subjects about photonics and optics. And this includes actually computer vision applications, advanced robotics, smart optical sensors, image recognition technologies, etc. The third subject is about AI and data analytics. And here we are looking for predictive analytic tools, decision support systems, digital twins, risk prediction systems, etc. Of course, we expect also to get projects related to cybersecurity, which is quite a hot topic there, including threat detection systems, attack prevention systems, blockchain infrastructure protection, etc. And finally, connectivity, including cloud platforms, secure communication systems, emergency response platform, etc. Those categories are not rigid. Of course, if your innovation covers multiple areas, it is completely acceptable. In the application form, you have the possibility to select several categories and to justify why you are covering several technologies. Really, what is important is that those technologies are addressing real security challenges. So it jumps me actually to the next part regarding the security value chain and the challenges. Actually, we're expecting that the project that you will propose fits in at least one of those three categories. The first one is the protection of critical infrastructures. So these entities are actually infrastructures that deliver essential services for the society, where disruption could cause major impact and major consequences from a societal and economical point of view. These infrastructures are usually really well interconnected with strong interdependencies and high regulatory requirements. And they have also, they could be also very vulnerable towards both physical and cyber threats. And here we can focus on energy systems, water systems, both drinkable and water to be treated, transport networks, healthcare infrastructure, digital infrastructure, etc. And those entities are really the backbone of European society, and their security is of paramount importance for our all well-being. The second subject is resilience. So here the challenges cover the protection against natural disasters like flood, earthquake, fire, etc., linked to the green transition, and also the management of technological risks in this respect, and all the issues related to the continuity of services in case of crisis situations. And then the final urban is the urban environment, namely the urban spaces. And it includes, of course, smart city security, and also the challenges which are represented by large-scale public events, and especially the management of large crowds into a urban context. So your project should address at least one of these three challenge areas. You can select also several, and you have to justify your choice into the application form. You will have also to address among which step of the security value chain your project is focusing on: risk assessment, prevention, detection, response, and recovery. And all those elements, of course, will need to be justified in the application form. Regarding the financial support, as I said, the maximum funding per selected project is 60,000 euros under the form of a grant. It is only available to SMEs, not to the other consortium members if it's not an SME. And so the funding is under the form of a grant with the lump sum payment mechanism. So the total funding rate is 80%. So it means that your project value must be at least 75,000 euros for a lump sum grant of 60,000 euros. You may have the possibility to submit a larger project, but however, only the funding will be 60,000 euros. And it's a lump sum, so no more, no less than 60K. The maximum project duration is 9 months, and the expected starting date will be October 1st, and the latest ending date of the funded projects will be at the end of June 27. We expect to have 2 payment stages. So prepayment after validation up to 20% if all your financial situation is satisfactory. And then the remaining 80% will be paid after closure of your project once the CITADEL consortium has fully validated your project with all its KPIs and the tasks well completed. Concerning the eligibility conditions, so first of all, of course, you must be legal entities established into the eligible countries. You must have a consortium of exactly 2 legal entities, as I said, which are independent from each other. Partner 1 must be a for-profit digital or tech SME, And partner 2 must be an end user representing the security side, having security challenges. The applications must be, of course, submitted before the deadline, which is on the 5th of May, and must be fully written in English in all the sections. You can only have one single application per applicant. In case we discover several proposals for the same applicant, only the last one submitted will be evaluated while the others will be rejected. And it's important that the SME is in good financial health, so not under liquidation and not on financial difficulty from the EU definition. So those conditions are really non-negotiable, and it's important that you double check all of them before you submit. So now how to apply? As I said, the deadline is set on the 5th of May, so a little bit less than 1 month now at 5 o'clock Central European summertime. We have prepared all documents that you need to know to apply. So the guide for applicant, which provide explanations on all what I've said right now, the FAQ to answer the most common questions, and the application templates to discover which type of content you have to prepare, but it must be completed only online, not on the PDF. So we have a portal which has been built, so citadel.grantplatform.com, and the applications must be exclusively submitted via this online platform before the deadline. You can create an account online, and you can then fill in your applications via drop-down menus and similar input formats. You can come back on the platform as many times as you wish. You can submit it now, revise it, resubmit again, and it will be the last version submitted at the deadline, which will be taken into account. On this application form, you will be asked also to present yourself, your team, also to present your project, your technologies, and also to present the KPIs, the key performance indicators against which your project will be validated if selected. You will have also to present your detailed work plan broken into task deliverables, and these elements will be an integral part of your grant agreement if you are submitted. So it's important that you submit and write it in a very well manner. As I said, you will have also to add a couple of additional elements. You will have to add one document which is called the SME self-assessment based on the website from the European Commission, which is used for us to demonstrate that your company has indeed the status of SME. And you will have also to fill in the self-financial viability in order to check what the financial situation of your SME is. Those two documents are not needed if the partner 2 is not an SME. You have also the capacity to provide optional letter of support from other end users if necessary. So the deadline is set on the 5th of May at 5 o'clock Central European time. So mark your date in this calendar because there will be no exceptions regarding late submissions. So now a few words about the evaluation and the selection process. The selection process is made in total of 6 steps that will run from early May, so immediately after the deadline, so after the 5th of May, and will run till the end of July. First of all, we will have first step is the eligibility check. The second step is the external evaluation by external experts. The third step is the consensus meeting. The fourth step is a jury day. So pre-selected applicants will be invited to pitch their projects online. I will explain that a little bit later on. Then the fifth step is the final selection. The top 17 projects will be selected and the reserve list will be prepared. And then we will enter into the phase of the sub-agreement preparation with the selected project, during which your financial health and your legal status will be further analyzed before the signature of the sub-grant agreement. For the eligibility, as I said, for the first step, so we will check that the basic elements are complete in English with all mandatory sections, well submitted before the deadline, that the composition of the consortium complies with the requirements, and that all fields have been fully completed, including the attached document. So proposals that do not meet this criteria will be unfortunately rejected and will not be evaluated during the second step. For the next step, step number 2, so for those passing the basic eligibility check, the proposal will enter the phase of the evaluation stage, where they will be assessed by at least 2 external experts that are independent from the CITADEL consortium. Scores will be given on 3 criteria, so excellence, impact, and implementation. Scores are from 0 to 5 points. And there will be actually thresholds of 3 out of 5 on each criteria, and a threshold on 10 out of 15 for the sum of the 3 criteria. And after this evaluation, the extra bonus point, in case 2 partners are present from 2 different countries, will be given. So the maximum available points here is actually 16. Regarding the first criteria on excellence, here we are going to evaluate first the soundness and the pertinence of your objectives. Are they well stated and well aligned with the scope of CITADEL, realistic and well defined? We are going also to assess the credibility of the technological KPIs that you will propose themselves. So are they well stated, both credible and achievable within the time frame and the budget that you have? We will also evaluate the completeness of the technical approach. Here, the goal is really to have very concrete and well-described technological approach. You will have to explain how you will do your work and not only what you aim to do. The coherence of the TRL will also be assessed here. So if you are claiming to move from TRL 6 to TRL 7, that should be realistic with the 9 months and the work plan that you have in mind. And then the innovation also will be also assessed, what is different from what already exists on the market. And the total of 5 points will be given for this criteria. The next one will be the impact. So the first sub-criteria will be industrial and market relevant. Is your product well aligned with key security challenges? Is it relevant to the security sector? And is there really a potential for adoption by the end users? The competitiveness and innovation capacity will be important here. So what will be the European competitive advantage of the solution? And also the social and the environmental dimension of the project will be evaluated here. So how your project contribute to the green and digital transition? Will your product have a positive societal impact? And also, have you thought about all the ethical, privacy, and social responsibility aspects of your project, which are particularly important when dealing with security elements and also with AI and data management? Finally, also the exploitation and the IPR strategy will also be assessed. What is your plan for exploiting the projects after the funding? Have you thought about the intellectual property, and what is the market opportunity in this respect? Regarding the implementation, we will evaluate also your work plan. Is your work plan realistic with tasks well described? Have you considered also any risks behind your project activities and envisage any potential mitigation measures? Is your consortium appropriate to carry out the work that you have proposed? Do you have the right expertise and with a good complementarity between the SME and the end user? What is the European dimension of your project beyond the fact of being, for instance, only from 2 different countries? But are you thinking really about the European market coverage or just your home market? And then what is, of course, the cost effectiveness of your work plan? Is your budget appropriate compared to the work you are proposing? Do you have the right resources to do it? And how also, of course, the co-funding is going to be managed. After that, you will receive a score. So out of 16 points plus 1 point for the trans-European dimension. And in case they are ties, so proposals having the same scores, the tie will be broken according to the following elements. First, the impact score. Secondly, the implementation score. Thirdly, the excellence score. And in case we still have equality after those 3 scoring, priority will be given to projects coming from the EU 13 countries that you can see on the list here. Based on that, a ranking will be done, and the best 24 projects, the one on the top of the list, will be invited to the jury day. So the jury day will be actually an online day that will be carried out between the 15th and the 17th of June online. During this jury day, you will have the possibility to pitch your pre-selected project in front of the CITADEL jury, composed of the CITADEL selection committee members from the consortium. So to present your project, followed by a Q&A session, where the jury will ask questions in order to go deeper in your projects. So the participation of at least one consortium member is mandatory for these small sessions, which will not be very long. During this session, another score will be given on the 3 elements below, so the quality of the team, the matching with CITADEL objectives, and the transversal criteria covering environmental impact, low carbon solutions, and equal opportunity principle. So another score out of 9 points will be given. Then we will combine these 9 points together with the score you had at the previous stage, and we will elaborate the final ranking list of CITADEL. And the top 17 projects from this final list will then be invited for sub-grant agreement preparation. And we will have also create a reserve list in case some selected projects withdraw from this phase. So this is the timeline. Keep it in mind. This is very important. So the call is open since end of February, and the deadline is on the 5th of May. So it's really now time to write on your proposal if you have not done it yet. The selection will be known after the jury day, so after the 18th of June. The granting phase will be done during the summertime from July to September, for a starting date of the 17 funded projects on the 1st of October at the latest. So now I finish with the presentation of the call itself, and I'm giving back the floor again to Leo, who will explain you more precisely how we can support you in finding partners if you don't have yet a partner with you to reply to the CITADEL Open Call. So I give you back the floor, Leo.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Marielle. Thank you. And we received a lot of questions in the questions box. And as a reminder, please include your questions in the dedicated section, not in the chat. So how to find partners indeed for CITADEL? The first way to find partners is to participate to this very event. So today we'll have dedicated matchmaking sessions during this afternoon. As a reminder, you will have until 12:30 if you're interested to register for those sessions, and until 12:45 to request meetings with potential partners. So please, if it is not done yet, do not hesitate to register and log in to browse the list of participants on the dedicated link. This event is, as I said, meant to allow you to get in touch with potential partners. So you are able to create your profile, promote your expertise and your project idea on the website, to gain visibility towards the other European players, to schedule meetings with them, and to meet the right partners to apply for Open Call 1. So this is the first way of finding partners, online B2B sessions, more or less. And the second way is to ask CITADEL partners through a dedicated online survey for help if you have any specific project idea or use case or specific need in terms of partners profile. You can fill in this survey, whether you are an SME from the digital sector or a security solution adopter from either public or private sectors. Please do not hesitate to fill in the survey and have direct contacts with CITADEL partners to tell a bit more about your idea or your specific need. A few tips now, maybe, on what you need to know, all in all, before the deadline of 5th of May. The first one is to invest some time to prepare a good application. CITADEL partners estimate a 2-day workload to build a proper proposal. The second tip is to make sure your project fits into CITADEL scope of objectives and impact. So please read the guide for applicants for more information on that. The third is eligibility requirements. So have you gathered the consortium of 2 partners? Are the partners eligible? Are they in the right countries? Do you have any conflict of interest between partners or with CITADEL partners? If so, you need to indicate it in your proposal. Again, guide for applicants available and to be read before submitting the proposal. In the guide for applicants, we'll be also able to have a list of identified challenges that have been identified beforehand by CITADEL partners. So there have been some interviews carried out with security end users to gather a list of challenges. If your project fits into those challenges, you need to indicate it and to tell how the project addresses the challenge. Number 5 is to be convincing for evaluators. So check the selection criteria, and the maturity of the proposal, the exploitation of the results. All of this needs to be well defined and specifically written in the proposal. You need also to check the payments procedure and the timeline, and agree to the grant distribution with your partner, and the co-funding rule needs to be complied with. Number 7 is the consortium building. So build your consortium in your team and plan your demonstration from the application stage. Indeed, it will give added value to the proposal if we already have an idea on what the demonstration will look like at the end of your project. Address one of the innovation challenges, like I said before. And the last one is to remember about the European and green transition dimensions, which are also at the core of CITADEL. Maybe before we give the floor to Hector to tell you a bit about another funding opportunity, let's maybe dive into some of the questions that have been asked within the questions box. I've already answered some of them, but maybe one of the main questions that always comes is the definition of the security sector partner. Marielle, do you have any specifications on this? What kind of partners are expected here?
For the security end user. So actually, it means an entity that represents the demand side. So it can be a legal entity, public or private, that actually operate in the context of security, namely having security challenges themselves. It means that they have an environment in which there are security issues, and they can be the end user of the technologies developed by partner number 1. So it means that this security end user should be able to express security concerns, security challenges. Typically here, we could have operators of critical infrastructures. We could have also public authorities. We could have healthcare infrastructures, transport operators, municipalities, regions, managers of public spaces, and so on. So namely, any entities responsible for the security of essential services, for instance. And they can be SMEs or not SMEs. If they're not SMEs, they participate in the project, but they cannot get the funding.
Okay, seems clear. Thank you. We have another question on the co-funding. So 20% of the funding must come from the SME or the partners. We have a questions on the specific costs that are included in the 20%. Can you give maybe more information on that?
Yes, so actually, it is requested that 20% of the total project value are provided into the form of co-funded. And it is a request from the European Commission, actually. And they insist from us that it must come from private financial resources that are mobilized for the project by the SME partner. And it means that it must really be financial resources which are invested into the project and not in-kind contributions. So, for instance, we could have the mobilization of own funds, so treasury from the company. We could have contributions from the capital. We could have a bank loan, other private investments, and cash resources. However, in-kind contributions and the valuation of staff time is not allowed. Of course, staff time is fully eligible as a project cost, but not as valuation for the co-funding. And in the application form, there is a dedicated box in which you are requested to explain how this co-funding, where this co-funding will come from.
So, for example, the last question is, can the partner, not the SME, contribute to the 20% investment in cash? I believe this...
Can the partner, not the SME, contributed to the 20%? Yes, so for instance, imagine you have a consortium with partner 1 SME, partner 2 non-SME. Partner 2 is willing to give 20% in cash to partner 1 for the execution of the project. Yes, it is completely acceptable because it is the financial resources in the hands of financial 1 coming from a private sources, which is partner 2. So yes, it would be acceptable.
And maybe another question on those 20%, this cannot come as staff costs. And if the partner is a public entity, how to measure the co-funding rate in terms of, I don't know, infrastructure, testing environment, if they provide structure. Yeah.
If the partner 2 is a non-SME, is a public entity, it will not receive any funding from CITADEL. So the co-funding will be 100%, zero funding from CITADEL. So in this case, it's up to them to provide what we are, to indicate what their budget will be, but we are not going to monitor the co-funding. The co-funding will be monitored for the 20% rate for the SMEs.
Okay, very clear. Just going through the questions. In the evaluation of the financial criteria, what are you looking at?
Financial Into the evaluation of the financial criteria? Yes. So in the guide for applicant, it is explained indeed that we would like to assess that the company is not in difficulty under the EU definition. And the definition from the European Commission says that the loss of a company cannot be more than 1/2 of their capital. And we're going to use this definition to evaluate if the company is in difficulty or not. This is the reason why we're asking to get the balance sheet via the financial viability check. And this is going to be double-checked in case you are selected before the grant agreement signature.
Okay. Thank you, Marielle. Can the partner 2, also an SME, be a consultant providing services to critical infrastructure and user operators?
No, partner 2, we would like to have the end user itself, not an intermediary, actually.
Okay.
To be sure that the technologies can be installed and within the end user use case and user premises or business operations, we would like to get this commitment, yes.
Yeah, directly as a partner in the consortium. And,
exactly.
And this also answers another question that we had. Is a letter of support enough to represent the end user? Well, the answer is no.
No, it's not enough, but there is actually space for a letter of support in case you have interest from other end users other than partner number 2.
Okay, very clear. Questions about the self-SME assessment. I think the link is in the guide for applicants, so I will just encourage you to read the guide. The slides will be available at the end of the session. We will tell you when to download them. Maybe one last question. Is it possible to apply if the company was created in early 2026?
So in principle, it's not forbidden. So the reply is yes, it is allowed as long as it is a legal entity. However, you would not have any balance sheet to show. So we will rely on the projected balance sheet that you may have, so namely the business plan. And in this case, we may reserve the right not to give an advance payment, and therefore to have only a final payment at the end in case that there is no financial security that the company is in good health.
Okay, thank you very much, Maëlle.
Thank you, Leo.
Again, plenty of other questions in the questions box if you have some time to answer them by hand.
And yes, you can just add that in case some of those questions are not yet replied in the FAQ, we may complete the FAQ with the third release. Otherwise, we would invite you to read the FAQ again. You may find the proper reply there.
Indeed, plenty of documents available to you. Now maybe let's jump into another section of this webinar, and this will be dedicated to a partner project of CITADEL, which is called CYSSDE, and they also have an open call open. So I believe if you have any cybersecurity related projects, these could be also eligible to CYSSDE. Of course, not the same project that you will submit to CITADEL, but just to give you a heads up. So Hector, the floor is yours.
Indeed, thank you so much, Leo. Over the next 15 minutes, I will present you with the current open call that is running under CYSSDE project. Tomorrow we also have a webinar, an info day, where CITADEL will also be featured. So yeah, you are more than invited to join in there in case that today we cannot cover everything. As for CYSSDE, before jumping into the opportunity that is open up until the 28th of April, we are funding up to 200,000 euros per project on a 50% co-funding basis. That is that your projects can be, for example, can have 400,000 euros as total costs. We will be covering up to 200,000 euros of those on a 50% co-funding basis. Before we go there, I will spend a couple of minutes explaining you what is CYSSDE all about. CYSSDE is a project that is funded under the Digital Europe program on its specific objective 3, that is cybersecurity. The project was originally envisioned in mid-2023. We got funded and started back in June 2024. This is we are closing the 2-year mark of the project. We have already conducted a first open call that targeted national coordination centers. We have also deployed a second open call past year around these dates that have, as we will see, has 10 projects up and running. And now we have this open call. This is the last CYSSDE open call, where we expect to have around 11 to 12 projects funded. The project, the main goal of CYSSDE is to enhance preparedness and support to deploy the different and develop different capabilities at EU level to enhance the preparedness of critical infrastructure, essential entities and important entities. With the different, on the one hand, open call, and on the other, tools and knowledge products that we are developing, we are also enhancing cybersecurity capacity by the means of providing with the tools to the skilled professionals, also to the financial support to hire these type of professionals, also to support the contributions when it comes to vulnerability discovery and for them to be assessed under a global scheme that is MITRES CVE program. We are supporting the implementation of regulations and directives such as NIS2 or Cyber Resilience Act. And overall, we look to grow the European cybersecurity industry and enhance and strengthen European competitive position. As mentioned, CYSSDE is funded under Digital ECCC Deploy Cyber 04 call. And we are, in this case, the project is being run by LSEC, Leaders in Security. In this case, from LSEC, we are a non-for-profit, Belgian non-for-profit association that was born as a spin-off of KU Leuven University. We are focused on cybersecurity, acting as a catalyst, bringing closer, on the one hand, the priorities when it comes to policy and legislation at EU level, industrial priorities, and to bring them closer to the European industry. In this case, over these past years, been very active in the coordination of different European initiatives, such as CYSSDE. We have here other partners, such as Funding Box, which is the entity that is managing the open calls. We have institutional representation in the consortium, with partners such as INCIBE, the Spanish National Cybersecurity Institute, and DNSC, which is the Romanian Cybersecurity Authority. We also have technical partners represented by CyberRanges, Toreon, and CU. And also worth mentioning that with the first open call, we engaged the national coordination centers of Portugal, of Slovenia, and of Romania, and they have provided great support when it comes to bringing this opportunity closer to the national communities. The goals of CYSSDE, first goal, to conduct more than 230 penetration testing with the different open calls. We already are on track to covering this first goal just with the previous open call projects, also identifying different vulnerabilities, addressing them, numbering them, especially among essential entities, important entities, but also addressing these vulnerabilities within SMEs. We are managing 4 million euros in funding. As we will see, this open call has 2.35 million euros in funding as a funding envelope, and overall to enhance the coordination and capacity building in the different European member states. A quick sneak peek on the results from Open Call 2. We got more than 120 applications, 10 projects were funded. Of the different areas that the projects are being focusing, let's say we have a very heterogeneous landscape, so web applications, network, cloud, APIs, mobile. In this case, maybe mobile lagging a bit behind, but nothing remarkable. In the case of domains here, we really sense that food and space could be domains more represented under Open Call 3, and as we will see, this is a tiebreaker. Projects that address food and space domains, they might get, if they are tight in points, they might break we will break the ties based off this criteria. For the Open Call 2 projects, we have different projects on health, public admin, energy, manufacturing, and again, participation Europe-wide. Some of the countries that provided the higher number of applications were Spain, Greece, Netherlands, Portugal, or Romania. We have under the CYSSDE website the current 10 projects that are being developed under CYSSDE activities Open Call 2. We highly recommend you that you take a look at them, you see what the different projects are all about, and also some of the different webinars that we have been running that are also recorded under the CYSSDE website. They have the testimonials of some of these Open Call 2 grantees where they go through the different projects and they provide some tips on what they are doing and how they got the funding. Some examples from Slovenia, 3FS, that is focusing on health and public infrastructure. In the case of ASBIN and ChurchIQ, they are focusing on providing pen tests on electrical vehicle charging infrastructure. And some other projects such as Starlogic coming from Spain, in this case, focusing on energy and banking sectors. We also have, besides the Open Call, a series of webinars that, as I have mentioned, we have been running over this month, this past March month, and we're also running in April. The webinars you can find under the CYSSDE website. Highly recommended that you check that. And we also have different knowledge products that are being developed for European cybersecurity experts to pick up. In this case, just to mention that we have CYSSDE pen testing scenarios. We have developed different pen testing scenarios that you can download. There are the different instructions on how to run the different scenarios are provided with the different packages, and you might also pick them up in the case that you want to deploy or develop a proposal. You can base your methodology on the CYSSDE pen testing scenarios. So about the open call, as mentioned, 200,000 euros. We'll take a look at it. What are the sectors that we are targeting? Well, critical infrastructure. By critical infrastructure, we can understand NAS2 entities, that is both essential and important entities. But again, from CYSSDE, we also want to target SMEs. In this case, this is the example of Belgium, but we can here look that, for example, medium-sized companies in some of these verticals, they are considered important or essential. So again, we are also welcoming proposals that aim to deploy pen tests in SMEs that might be essential or important entities under NIS2. And also, we are targeting Cyber Resilience Act, in this case, manufacturers of products with digital elements, both consumer products, but also critical products with digital elements that are aimed at businesses, firewalls, industrial control systems, essential software. So in this case, if you are a manufacturer of products with digital elements that are in a scope of Cyber Resilience Act, you might also be in a scope of CYSSDE pen testing open call, provided that you comply with the different criteria that we will now take a look at. Besides the funding, as we will see, just wanted to mention that you will get support from the different CYSSDE partners. In this case, you will be assigned a mentor, which is a CYSSDE expert. The mentor will learn a lot from you, but also you will get the support from him, and you will also get to learn from your mentor's experience. You will have different visibility and development opportunities at the EU level. As mentioned, some of the Open Call 2 grantees, they are organizing their own specific webinars in order to highlight their organization, their services, their Open Call 2 projects. So not only think about the CYSSDE Open Call as a funding opportunity, also as an opportunity to further team up with the CYSSDE consortium. Open Call overview, as mentioned, up to 200,000 euros, 50% co-funding basis. We are aiming for 11 to 12 projects to be selected. The target here is to deploy pen tests within essential service operators and SMEs, but for the beneficiaries, as we will see, we are agnostic when it comes to you being public or private, or you being an SME or a larger corporation. All of them are welcome as CYSSDE beneficiaries. The main requirement, the minimum requirement, is that at least you provide 10 external assessments, being them pen tests or vulnerability assessments per beneficiaries. As mentioned, SMEs, mid-caps, large corporations can apply. Research centers, public bodies, universities, or private entities can apply too. Here, the main criteria that this is something that you need to take into account is that you need to be owned and controlled in one of the EU 27 member states or European Economic Area countries. In the case that you have an owner that the person is not from the EU, you are not eligible. This is a criteria that applies to all the different funding opportunities under Digital Euro program cybersecurity specific objectives. So check not only that you are registered in an EU country, but also that you are owned and controlled by EU individuals, understood by you coming from EU 27 or European Economic Area countries. Individual entities are allowed to apply. Consortia from up to 2 entities is also allowed. In this case, up to you to decide whether you prefer to go at it alone or go at it with one partner. As for eligibility conditions, the proposals must be written in English. As in the case of CITADEL, you need to have good financial health, not be under liquidation, not be in enterprise difficulty. Also, try to avoid double funding. In this case, do not apply for CITADEL and apply for CYSSDE, get both projects funded, and then try to have the same thing funded in both projects. In this sense, the costs that you justify, avoid that they are being funded under 2 different European source streams. and then try. The work needs to be original, not copied or not some AI generated nonsense. As for the application process, you can check the application process under opportunities.get1pass. Also, just by going to the CYSSDE.eu website, you will be redirected to the open call, and from there you can open this platform. All the application is being handled under the Get1pass platform. Everything that you need to fill in is under this platform. So you can work, let's say, on the side with a Word document, but everything needs to be inputted here. You will not need to upload a PDF with the proposal. Rather, fill the different text box fields that appear in the platform, and they are capped at the maximum character limit. We aim for the different applications to be around 4,000, 4,500 words of length. So it might take you, if you have a clear idea on what you want to do, a couple of days to write the proposal. But as we will see, there are different things that can get you additional points. As for the evaluation criteria, we have 3 criteria: excellence, impact, implementation. The 3 of them scoring 5 points. You will need to have 3 points among the 3 different criteria, and the maximum score is 15. First, you will be checked for eligibility conditions. Then we might conduct an in and out screening just to check that your project is cybersecurity related. You will then be evaluated by 2 external experts. And then from CYSSDE, we will meet, the selection committee from CYSSDE will meet, and then decide the final rankings. In case that it might be needed, we might call you for an interview if we want to have additional information on your proposal. As I mentioned, for the tie breaking, this is important because we will have many different applications with very high scores that are tied. In order to break these ties, first, we take a look at the higher number of pen testings that are planned. Second, the highest number of essential or important entities that are covered with these pen testings. Third, that you provide the highest number of letters of intent, letters of commitment, contracts, proof that these essential important entities that will receive the pen tests do support you, and they will open their organizations, their systems to the different pen testings and vulnerability assessments in case that you get funding. Also, as mentioned, applicants addressing space or food domains, highest number of end users covered, and at the end, highest score of the impact section. As for the support program, this is a lump sum. We will release the payments based on 4 different stages. First stage, if you are elected, if you are chosen as one of the beneficiaries, you will need to develop an execution plan. Then second stage, develop the different scenarios for the pen testing or vulnerability assessments. Third plan, conduct the different external assessments. Fourth, set up and share the different outputs and check for the potential sustainability of your project. Between all the different stages, we conduct a review of the different milestones of the different KPIs, and we decide whether you pass on to the next stage or not. Whenever you pass on to the next stage, a tranche payment is released. Activities qualified for funding: hiring personnel, your different costs of personnel, acquiring different tools, conducting research, accessing intelligence services, the delivery of advisory or assessment services. In this sense, there are plenty of cost categories that are covered. For some takeaways, before we jump into the Q&A, first and most important, ensure that you can provide the 50% of co-funding. Again, we are talking about costs. So in this sense, if you already have people on your payroll that you can assign to the project, we can cover 50% of the costs of this personnel, just to provide an example. But the 50% co-funding rule applies strictly. Verify also your EU ownership. Check that you don't have owners from outside of the EU, otherwise you might be non-eligible. Plan for at least 10 pen tests. Also, we have a frequently asked questions. We will now answer some questions quickly. If not, again, I advise you that you check that tomorrow we are running a webinar. I will send you the link right now for everyone to have. We are running a webinar tomorrow, and we can further address the different doubts that may arise. And also, we have a help desk. If you have any further questions, check them. There are still 3 weeks left up until the call closes. So I think that you have still a good opportunity in order to make it and develop a very good proposal. So start the application, check the different KISSDE activities, join our community of experts, talk to different prospects, customers, end users, partners, suppliers, and publish vulnerabilities. Expand our community. If you want to expand our community, check assessmentexperts.eu. This is a community for pen testing and security experts that we have created under KISSDE. So you will be more than welcome there. You can also there find maybe other experts with which to team up in order to prepare a proposal for KISSDE Open Call. So that would be it. In this case, you have here my colleague Ulrich details if you want to contact. In any case, also at info@kissde.eu, we will be able to solve any potential doubts. So thank you all. I will check the different questions. I think that I can try to address the different questions. So the fund will hand to SME, and what will the second partner get at 11:44? No, I think that this is for Citadel.
Yeah, we have a question in the chat. If you mind.
Okay. Mind. Yeah. I mean, let's see in the chat. IT service provider confirmed that this project can reimburse 50% of personal costs and external partner costs involved in pen testing. Yeah, indeed. Yes. So 50% of your personal costs. By external partner costs, it would need to be what we understand by external partner costs. But if, for example, this is an advisory services that is provided by an external partner in relation to the KISSDE pen testing project, indeed, we can reimburse 50% of these costs. Okay, different question. Is it possible to apply if the company was created in early 2026? Yes, it should not be restrained. Only thing is that in terms of maturity and implementation, because we will ask you to provide what are the different years of experience of your team, what is the size of your team, or for example, what is the number of cybersecurity experts or pen testing experts that will participate in the project and that currently you have in-house and maybe potentially will hire in case that you get funding. If you are a very newly formed company and you currently lack the muscle when it comes to having the personnel there, maybe it's also interesting to team up with a different entity, but it's not a strict requirement that you are, for example, established 2 years ago. So in this case, it's eligibility-wise, there is no problem. You are offering a risk assessment. Do you need a partner who provides a pen testing service to apply? We are looking for pen testing and vulnerability assessment. So in this case, risk assessment would fall out of the scope. However, if you have a partner that provides pen testing services, maybe you can try to prepare a proposal, both of you, one providing pen testing services and maybe the other complementing it with vulnerability assessments, if you can provide that, or providing other type of activities, let's say related to project management, communication, dissemination, impact management. That could be a formula. Okay. I don't know if there are any further questions. I have provided there the link for the info day that we have tomorrow. We will also welcome their Citadel team. I think Leo will be there present, sharing again Citadel Open Call. So yeah, you are highly advised to attend there tomorrow. We will dig a little bit deeper into the CYSSDE Open Call. We will also provide some feedback based on some of the proposals that have already arrived. So some anonymized feedback on what should be there, what should not be there. So yeah, again, I would like to thank especially Citadel Consortium, Systematic also for providing this opportunity to CYSSDE to be here today to share with you our open call. And regarding CYSSDE, I think that from our side, that's it. Again, thank all of you for coming. Check the opportunity. Still 3 weeks left. I think you have a good shot to make it if you have a pen testing vulnerability assessment project in mind.
Thank you, Hector. Thank you very much. And with this, we can conclude today's sessions and the agenda. So today afternoon, B2B sessions for Citadel. Tomorrow we have CYSSDE Info Day. As a reminder, you also have plenty of documents regarding Citadel Open Call 1 or CYSSDE Open Call 3. It's very important before you ask the questions that you read those documents, guide for applicants, frequently asked questions before coming to us. We thank you, everyone, for your participation. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Hector and Marielle, for their participation as well. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you, Leo.
Bye.